So in this episode, I'm going to talk about Salesforce integration with Heroku. Now you must be wondering, what is a Heroku, right? Heroku is a cloud platform similar to, you might have heard about AWS or Azure. The thing is that Heroku is platform as a service, okay? So if you're a developer, say for instance, if you're a Node.js developer or a React.js developer, JavaScript developer, right? You build an application you can deploy to Heroku and you can use it, right? So you can host your app on Heroku like you're hosting in AWS or Azure. Okay, that's in a nutshell. Now, why do you need a Heroku integration? Okay, so I'm just going to talk about it in a second. So let me write it down here. Um, so this is we need to Heroku. So we are talking about Heroku integration today, and I'm gonna walk you through theory first. Then I'm gonna talk about how to I'm gonna show you how to log into Heroku, sign up to Heroku, and then we integrate with Salesforce, right? Sounds pretty cool. So this is Salesforce, and then we have Heroku Connect. Okay, so and then we have Heroku. Okay, all right. So sounds pretty cool. So this is Salesforce and this is Heroku. Okay. So Heroku, like I said, is a cloud platform, right? So for instance, let me give you a simple scenario. Why do we need a Heroku at first place? Right? That's what you must be wondering, right? Why I'm talking about Heroku and why do we need a Heroku interface with Salesforce? Pretty good question. Okay, so let me give you a simple scenario. Imagine you're a customer, right? Imagine you run a company, toy selling company, right? Where you sell Legos and say, excuse me, you sell Marvel's Lego, you sell Disney, Star Wars Lego, and DC Legos, right? And other toys, right? And then you have a website which is pretty much built using React.js and hosted on Heroku. Now, the problem is you have a product information, right? All your product information stored in Salesforce, okay? So everything to do with your Lego classifications, Lego toys, everything associated with the product is stored in the Salesforce, okay? Now, you want to make use of Salesforce data in Heroku to display, your toy information to the customer so that you can give a customer a unique experience, right? At the same time, take care of the performance issues, right? So what I meant by that is, let's say you must be thinking, right? Why do we need something called this thing, Heroku Connect, right? And what is it? Okay, so I'll give you first a scenario which you might consider as the best scenario. I mean, if you don't know Heroku, so like I said, you have a Heroku, right? You have a React.js app, which is like a friend-facing customer app, okay, which like sells toy sale app. Now, you must be thinking, okay, I wanted to get a product information from Salesforce, right? So you can use an API to fetch the product data whenever the user wants it, or you can cache it, whenever you want it, right? And then you can display that stuff to the user. That's fine, okay? But if you're constantly hitting an API, right, it will count towards the API limit, okay? And another thing, it will have a performance impact, okay? So imagine you're a customer, right, who goes to, say, XYZ website, toy company website, you wanted to buy a Lego for a son or a daughter, and you clicked on a, say, Lego classification. It took 5 minutes to load the information. Imagine the level of frustration. You will be like, what the heck this website is all about, right? Why is taking so much of time? Because these days people have very short attention span, right? Sorry to say that. Okay, so keeping that design into consideration, it's not a really great approach, okay? So this is not a great fit. So you can't constantly query, use the API to do that. Okay, so that's where Heroku Connect comes in, yeah? So Heroku Connect forms a bridge between the Salesforce and Heroku, okay? So if you wanted to sync the data bidirectional, you can do using Heroku Connect, okay? So Salesforce data, you can send it to the Heroku or the other way around, okay? Or if you do not want to sync a data, if you only wanted to do something called data proxies, where the data won't get synced, but just only used for, viewing or other stuff, right? Then you can use that as well using a Heroku Connect. And for that, we use OData 4, okay? I'll show you, when I do hands-on. Okay, now that's the one thing, right? That's the one use of Heroku where you wanted to extend your CRM functionality, right? Pretty simple, right? So what you will do here in this case, the Heroku maintains a database, right? So Heroku offers different service, right? Heroku offers compute, it offers the database service using the Postgres, and if you wanted to use the Memcache, like key value store, you use the Redis, okay? Pretty simple. And it also supports Kafka, right? So let's not get into Kafka for now. I mean, Kafka is out of scope. So, all right. So what happens is, so the data, it used the Postgres database, right? Everyone knows about Postgres, I hope. And you can use the normal SQL query to get the data out of it. So you can store the data into your Postgres and you can make use of that data in your app, right? Without worrying about the latency issues. Okay, so the way it works, right? Like I said, you sync the data to the Postgres, right? And your app make use of it. Okay, so a user will get a seamless experience, which is fantastic. Okay, that's one functionality, the one use of Heroku. And another use is, let's say, in Salesforce, you have a lot of complex processing in terms of payment generation, okay? Payment file generation, payment data generation, okay? So normally you can do that using Apex, but it gets too complicated. So you can outsource those tasks to Heroku to do those complex operation. And once the task is done, it can send the information back to this Heroku, of course, using Heroku Connect. Or if you wanted to do an machine learning kind of, so to do kind of analytics, right? Analytics on your data, and where you have a machine learning libraries or Python, libraries, sits on Heroku, and where you have a process that keep on taking in the data and generating analysis, right? So you can do that using Heroku as well. So like I said, that Heroku is very useful in a lot of things, okay? So you can also use Salesforce Connect, okay? For, like I said, for if you wanted to, if you have an API, right, hosted somewhere, and if you just wanted to view the data, you can use the Salesforce Connect. So this is a Heroku specific integration I'm talking about. So what did you learn from today's lecture? Heroku, right? Where do you use Heroku? If you wanted to extend your CRM functionality, if you wanted to use a separate app, at the same time you use Salesforce data, then you use Heroku, okay? Using Heroku Connect. For data proxies, which is like data virtualization, you use Heroku Connect, okay? And if you wanted to outsource the complex process, you can use Heroku, okay? So that's simple theory in a nutshell, okay? I hope that's clear. It's very simple to understand. All right, now let's jump into the Heroku, okay? So this is a Heroku app. Okay, so what do? You go to Heroku, right? Google Heroku, and you can sign up, okay? Once you sign up, it logs you in, okay? Once you log in, you get something like this, okay? I've created an app. So what I'll do, let's create a simple app, okay? So I'll create a new app, and I'm not worrying about the pipelines, right? So I don't want it to do CI/CD here. So we can say demo Heroku, okay, let's see, Vic, right? All right, so that's with the lowercase. Okay, demo Heroku, Vic, okay. Let's see. Okay, that's available, and choose a region. So you got only two options to choose. I mean, I would have chosen New Zealand, but there's nothing in New Zealand, so, or Asia Pacific. So I'll choose United States. Okay, that's fine. It's equally far, right? I mean, I mean, Europe, it will take around 30 hours to reach the United States, maybe 20, 25, so a bit closer. Okay, all right, so add to pipeline, right? So I'm not concerned about the CI/CD aspect. I'm not doing anything to the pipeline, so I can create an app, okay? That's pretty straightforward. Okay, so app is created, and now I will have, so I don't want it to do any kind of deployment, and so I can do resource. I can look at the resource. So in this resource, right, you can add Heroku Connect. So remember I talked about Heroku Connect, right? Without Heroku Connect, you can't talk to Salesforce, okay? So what I'll do, I will add Postgres to see if I have anything. So Heroku Postgres, okay, so it's adding. Okay, so this is free. So this is the plan I'm choosing, so you can choose other option. Right, Heroku Basics for demonstration. I'm just going to choose, for free. It's a hobby dev. You have other tiers. You can read about it, right? So, and you can submit. Okay, so that's get added, and now you can say Heroku Connect. So if you wanted to use the Redis, you can use. If you wanted to use Kafka, you can use. But I'm interested in Heroku Connect. Okay, so this is free. So you have Enterprise, you have Shield. I'm not worrying about that for now. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, fantastic. Right now, I wanted to connect to the Salesforce. Okay, and bring the data in. So how do you do that? It's pretty straightforward. Go to Heroku Connect here. Okay, and it's gonna take time, which is pretty. Okay, now set up connection. Okay, now I wanted Salesforce here. I'll just say I already have a connection with the Salesforce. Just see if it causes any error, but we'll figure it out. So you need to know how to configure it, right? You might have to do POC if you're an integration architect. They will say, okay, show me how to integrate it, right? So you need to do how to do that. Okay, so this is production, right? If you use Sandbox, if you wanted to, usually you won't be doing this to production. On a customer side, you will be doing to the Sandbox or custom domain. Okay, so Sandbox mostly. So I'm gonna do the production because I use the developer org. So I'm gonna do authorize, and for some reason it gave an error. Oh. Okay, the schema already exists. Okay, so the reason why it failed. Okay, let's say Heroku Connect. So there's already a connection that is which I've created this before. So that's why I won't let you do that. See, this is already a connection that's there. So what happens is, so let me see. Um, um, right. So what I'll do, connection, personal app. Okay. All right. So that's fine. Don't worry about it. So this is how it looks like when you connect it. What happens, it asks you to log into the Salesforce, so it takes you here. It's nothing fancy. Okay, so I've logged into this org. Okay, so now what happens, you have an option to, when you go to mapping here, right? Now I don't have a mapping here, so I wanted to bring, say, account to the Heroku. So what I'll do, I'll create a map. So when you create a map, right, so you can see that it does it loads the Salesforce object. Okay, it loads accounts, it loads pretty much everything from your org. Okay, so you can map it. So let's say I wanted to bring a contact. Okay, and I can go to contact, and so this is one side. Okay, so from Salesforce to the Heroku, you can do bidirectional. Right, so I'm just bringing one. Okay, so what I want to do, the first name, excuse me, and I wanted to do the last name. Okay, so I just wanted to do that, and I just mapped. Okay, so I mapped it, so I see it reloading it, so it will see. Now it's gonna poll it, so you can see that what's happening, right? So it's gonna bring the data from the Salesforce, and you see the database rows. You can see that, right? Now you go to the logs, so you can, if there's an exception happens, you can see in their Salesforce errors. Then we have audit message, and so these are the audit messages. So you can see that what everything happened, connect to service, and notify the database schema. So this is the account. So this is the account that's been linked to this specific Heroku Connect. So that's why I sent to. It says that okay, which account linked and who modified the schema. It's like an audit log, right? So which is pretty handy. And this Explorer where you can see contact. See, these are the contacts which get synced, right? And so you can see no changes. This record has not been changed. So if you go to login.salesforce.com, and it will pull eventually. It takes some time to pull because I'm using free version, so I can't do reduce the frequency of pull, increase the frequency, sorry. So we go here and we're just going to go to contact, right? So you do just go to contact here. So we have this Dave Muller, so I'm going to add it. So I would say beer mates, right? I love to talk about beers. If you know me very well, I brew my own beer. I mean, that's while it's loading, I'm just giving a different stuff to talk about. Sometimes I digress, so my apologies. So it will take some time to ping it here. If you go mapping, so it just pulls it here in its own time. And these are the database activities. You can see that passed over. So and missing, right? So it will get pull in. So don't worry about it. So okay. So now these are the external objects. Okay. Now external objects is if you wanted to give away a data from here to say, for instance, I wanted to view the data from Heroku. Okay, so you can use it using the OData. Okay, and it gives the credentials and you can access it, right? So that's one of the handy thing if you want it. It's usually used for data virtualization, right? Or data proxy is what we call, right? There's something similar to what you can do using Salesforce Connect. Right, and these are the settings we have. You have manage connections, manage database, and you have database, right? So these are the PSQL command, right? You can get this command here. This is pretty straightforward. And you can upgrade to paid versions, right? So it is right. So this is how the Salesforce and Heroku integration works. So you can do bidirectional. For now, I didn't bother to do that. I just wanted to show you how it works, right? If you wanted to do more, right, you can go to Heroku and read about the Heroku documentation, right? And I would highly encourage you to read about Heroku Connect documentation. So, I mean, you might get asked one or two questions in certifications, and not beyond that. I mean, they might give you a scenario, right? They will say, oh, you have this, you wanted to integrate with this, you have Heroku system, what you use Heroku Connect or Salesforce Connect or whatever. So obviously you use Heroku Connect, right? You can't use the Salesforce Connect to integrate between the Salesforce and the Heroku, right? It has to be a Heroku Connect, right? So that's pretty obvious, right? But at times, they will ask you in a tricky way. You might think, the Salesforce Connect is the better option, but not really, though. So yeah, that's pretty much I wanted to talk about this episode. Thank you.